In this video we are going to learn about URL rewriting in ASP.NET. Before ASP.NET 4.0 version, we used to do that using the HTTP module and HTTP handler. But in ASP.NET 4.0 onwards, a new namespace has been added called system.web.routing, and that helps us to rewrite the URL very easily. And in this how-to we are going to see that how to rewrite the URL to make it SEO friendly, means search engine optimization friendly, and user friendly also. So let's see how to do that. So for that, what we are going to do is that we are skipping this part. We will come back to this later on. First we will create one default.aspx page. So let's create a default.aspx page and copy and paste this code. So here is going to be my default.aspx, and I am pasting this code, and let me format it, and let me tell you what is in this code. Here we have a grid view, and we have specified some CSS styles for the alternate row style, footer, header, and those things. That's very common. And the specific thing here is that we have written columns explicitly, means we have written auto-generate columns is equal to false. That will basically disable auto generation of the column from the data source. So that's why I have written the columns explicitly. So first column is the details column, where I have framed anchor tag, and that anchor tag is basically write URL method being called from the code behind, and the text of the anchor tag may be details. I will show you what is this write URL. And the second column is the first name, the third column is active, whether that particular record is active, yes or no. That's it. Now let's copy paste the code of the code behind. So here I am going to copy paste this code. Let me just copy and paste it, and then I will explain it very clearly. So here we go, code behind, and this, and then again few lines of code more are there. So yes, 1 minute. Yes. Now we have to rectify these errors, because looks like there is some error in this code. Okay, first of all, because we are using edu.net, so you will have to use namespace. So system.data, and using system.data.sql client, and because we are using configuration manager, so we'll have to system.configuration namespace. Fine. Now let me see if we have any more error here. Looks like we are done. So the first line of code is basically getting the database connection string from the web.config file. Let me show you the database connection string. This is the connection string constr, and that's what it is getting from the web.config file and storing into _constr variable. And then in the page load event of the page, we are checking for if it is not is post back. Then we are calling the get data method, and in the get data method we are simply using very simple edu.net codes to retrieve all the data from the personal detail table, and we are filling into the table data table object, and that data table is being set as the data source of the grid view. And then we are calling the data bind method that will basically bind the data from the personal detail table into the grid view. Okay, fine. Now I will come to this write URL method later on. Now once we have done that, then first let me show you the this page by running it. So I am click on view in browser by right clicking the page, and personal details could not be found. 1 minute. Looks like there is some problem. Okay, I'm just commenting it out. return I'm saying is empty, because I'm using this right URL in the ASP space, that's why it is throwing this error. So that's fine. My purpose is just to run and show you. So now you can see that I'm seeing the records from the personal detail table, and here is the link called details. Now what I want is that when I am clicking on this details link, I want to show the complete details, means all the fields of this Palo. Okay, when I will click the details for the Joy, then I should be able to see the complete details of the Joy into another page. So that's what my purpose is. So for that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create another page, and where I will pass the ID from this page to that page as a query string, and I will retrieve that ID and show the records to that page. So for that, let me create another page. So here is my another page called show.asp page. Right click, add new item, and show. And in this I have a details view, as you can see it here. And I do not have any specific thing into the details view. It's very simple. I have just copied and pasted, and I have used the smart tag to add these CSS styles. And now let me go ahead and copy paste the code of the code behind, and then I will explain this. So I am copying and pasting the code of the code behind. Okay, here we go. Yes, now let me add some namespaces using system.data and using system.data.sql client. And now let me rectify all these errors that it might have, and looks like we are done. So here what we are doing, first we have an underscore constr that is retrieving the basically database connection string from the web.config file. And then what we have done is that here, forget about these two things for now, okay, just ignore these. Then what we are doing, we are first checking for the auto ID. Now let me write some auto ID. Auto ID equal to request dot query string of ID, or let's say auto ID. Yes. And if this auto ID is not null or empty, then I am passing that auto ID into the show details method. And in the show details method, what we are doing, we are basically using the edu.net code to retrieve the data from the database specific to that auto ID. So whatever auto ID I will pass, means whatever ID of this Joy or Michael I will pass to that particular page, show.asp page. Based on that ID, the complete details will be retrieved from the database, and it will be bounded to the details view. So first what I am going to do is that instead of this right URL, let me just write it as and comment it out. Yeah, here what I am doing is that I am writing show.aspx question mark auto ID is equal to eval of auto ID. So now what it will do is that this details link will have, you can see here in the status bar, have show.aspx and auto ID equal to 2010, whatever auto ID is there for that particular record. Let me show you the database. This is my auto ID, okay, this personal detail table, and these are the auto ID. So those values are basically coming here. Now what I am going to do is that when I will click on this, for example details for the Polo, then I am redirecting to the show.aspx with auto ID equal to 7, and that auto ID is being retrieved here from the query string and being passed to the show details, and based on that we are getting all the records from the database and populating into the details view, as you can see here. But the problem in this approach is that the URL is not user friendly. You can see that we have so.aspx and then question mark and then auto id is equal to 7, means query strings are there, and that is not SEO friendly URL. Okay, it is not even user friendly also, because it doesn't look good. It is not easily readable. Question mark and then auto id is an equal and then 7. So what we are going to do is that we are going to use ASP URL routing mechanism in order to make this URL SEO friendly. So in order to do that, what we need to do is that we need to add some code into our global.asx page. So here was the code that I had skipped in the first place. This is the code. So let me copy and this paste the global.asx code. So before that I will have to create one global.asx page here. Okay, yes, from here to here, and I'm just removing all the earlier code because I'm not going to use them, so there is no need of keeping them here. And I think we are done. Yes. Now what we are doing here is, first we are using the namespace called system.web.routing, and in the application start event we are calling the register routes method, and in that register routes we are passing the route table.routes object, and this routes object is nothing but the collection, and this route table exists into system.web.routing namespace. And in this, what we are doing is, in register routes method we are basically adding a map for the particular URL. So what I am doing is that I am saying routes.map route map page route, and then we'll have to pass the name of the routing mechanism, and then we will have to pass the pattern of the URL. So I am saying that so, and then first name and the auto ID. These braces indicates the you can say a variable value. So here we will write the first name value, and here we will write the auto ID value. And when this particular pattern will match into the URL, means into the browser address bar here, and then go ahead and show the so.aspx page. Okay, so that's what we have done here. Now what we will do is that we will go to the default.aspx page, and instead of writing this query string, what we will do is that we will basically use this code. And let me tell you what is in this code. So instead of this href, we will use this code. Now here what we are doing is we are calling the write URL method, that will be into my code behind, and we are passing eval of first name and eval of auto ID. So let me go to the write URL method. Here was my write URL method, and in this we are using the get route URL method. Get route URL method is basically comes from the page object. You can see that. And in this get route URL method, what we'll do that we have to pass the route name. So route name is what? This is my personal detail, because I want this pattern to be added into this anchor tag. So that's why I am using the same personal detail as my route name. This personal detail and this personal detail, this personal detail should be same. And because this route is accepting two parameters, first name and auto ID, so we'll have to pass those two parameters here. So you can see that I am passing first name as my first name, that is coming from here, and then auto ID is this auto ID coming from here, and this is the first name and the auto ID parameter that is accepting this particular URL pattern. Okay, now what will happen, that in place of this particular code we will have the URL of this pattern, so, and then first name and then auto ID. So let me refresh this page and show you this. Okay, now you can see that, notice here status bar. For Joy it is coming so /Joy 3. Now again notice the status bar. For Michael it is coming, let me copy and paste this into the notepad and show you this. So yes, now here you can see that so, and the Michael is the first name and the 5 is the auto ID. So this is what here. So you can see, so first name is Michael, auto ID is auto ID value. So in this pattern we are this is the pattern we are getting from this particular get route URL method. Once we have here, then let me click on this okay, details link for the Michael. So I clicked it. Now we are here. Now on this page we should have some mechanism to retrieve the value that is being passed here. So here we are passing Michael and 5. So to retrieve those value that is being passed on that particular page, means show.aspx page, because that's what we had specified here. What we need to do is that we need to use the route data object. So route data dot values of first name, means this first name, and then auto ID. So this first name and auto ID will basically give us, in this case it will give first name as Michael and auto ID as 5. So that's we will get into first name and auto ID, and now we are not using first name here, we are using the auto ID, and the same auto ID is being passed to the show details method, and it is performing the same operation that we had seen earlier. So now let me refresh this page. When I am refreshing this page, you can see that now the Michael record is being displayed completely on this page. Now when I will click for the Mike, then you can see that Mike details is coming. When I will click for the Joy, then you can see that Joe details is coming, and the URL is completely SEO friendly, and it is completely user friendly also. It is very easy to remember. So then oblique Joy and then oblique 3. Okay, so this is the way to basically achieve the SEO friendly, user friendly, and easily readable URL in ASP.NET.